Hello, hello, welcome. It is Goddess Spiritual Queen, and today I am here with an unexpected, divinely guided message. Oh my goodness. First of all, before I get into anything, thank you to all my current subscribers. I want to welcome all of my new subscribers. Welcome to my channel. And today I am here with a surprisingly divinely guided message. Yes, I'm just in shock. I contemplated on actually sharing this message with you guys. And I made my mind up that I was going to go ahead and share it because this is a part of my spiritual journey. So let's get started. So one, on top of what I've been already dealing with, I don't know, the ones who've been following me on Facebook, there was the very first Facebook message that I did was pertaining to a twin flame. And I met my twin about almost a year ago, in July, the end of July, like around July 28th, I think that was the exact day. And he was a catalyst in my life for me to grow spiritually, for me to begin to fix myself, for me to basically grow. And I've been battling with the on and off, coming and going, I thought that was the end, but we always think it's the end, it's never the end. But just to make a long story short, I felt as though I had to give y'all that little bit of background. So recently, me and my twin have been separated for about 2 months, and we wasn't speaking, we wasn't talking, nothing. So I just want to show you guys how the enemy can use someone that you love so dearly and that you hold so dearly to your heart, but the Almighty Creator is trying to remove them. But when we hold on to things, so I want to share this story with you guys, right? So recently, like I stated, me and my twin wasn't speaking. We started to speak about a couple weeks ago. And everything was fine, we seen each other. Then we agreed that we were going to continue on our path without each other because it just wasn't time. I just did not see him on my path right now because of what Yah, the Almighty Creator, has been telling me. And let me tell y'all, I love this man so deeply. I love him with all of my heart, deeply, so deep. And those who have twin flames and spiritual connections with people, you know how this feels. And it doesn't even have to be a twin flame. It could just be a soulmate. But the love is just, words can't explain the love. And so I have probably cried over 1,000 tears for this man. And every time I cry and say that I'm gonna leave, and the Almighty Creator grants me healing, but when I put myself back in the situation, the healing work that I have done to remove myself from the situation dissipates, and that wound is reopened and the band-aid is ripped off, and then I'm stuck with the wound again. So as you guys know, I have been battling spiritual warfare ever since I quit tarot. Well, right after I quit tarot and, and everything started to get together, right after I received that Tanakh, and I made my mind up that I'm going to walk this path because I feel this is the right path. This is a righteous path, okay, to me to follow all of the commandments and not worry about my twin and read scripture and learn scripture. And I decided, I made my mind up. And me and my twin, we were conversating over Facebook. So we decided to, pick up the phone and call each other. And it was about a cat, about a little kitten, right? And Once I made my mind up, I had peace. I was happy. I was explaining to him everything, you know, because even though we weren't on the same path and we weren't talking, you know, we still kept in contact. We decided to still keep in contact from time to time. And so I'm explaining this to him. I'm explaining him. I'm doing the commandments. I'm explaining all this to him, right? So I'm telling him about what my Hebrew brother told me, that how he was not trying to be honest with me about his feelings, because he never told me that he loved me, even though I confessed my love. He never opened up because of the issues that he had within himself. He was still healing. He was broken. So when I told him that my Hebrew brother said that, you know, you love me and you're not being honest about it and all of this, well, he said, I'm not going to negate that. So I'm just like, hold up, what? I'm like, what did you just say? So I kept talking, you know, it was in the back of my head that he said that, but I kept talking. So I was just like, you know, do you love me, you know? And he said, yes, I do. And I said, what? Because it's just like I waited so long to hear these words from him. It's been like over 9 months. And like I said, like I fell in love with him the first day I met him. But I waited so long to hear these words. So off the back, I said, no, enemy, not today. You're not going to do this to me today, enemy. But my flesh said, oh my goodness, this man just told me he loved me. So make a long story short, with this situation, I ended up going back over there, falling into the trap of the enemy, because like I said, the enemy can use those who do not belong in your life, but you love them so much, the enemy can use them. Ended up going over there. We had a nice time, you know, everything was fine. We agreed to see each other every once or twice a week. So I had a conversation with him the other day. And we had a nice little video chat. It was real long, and everything was fine, and we laughed and everything. And I had some good news to tell him. But then I started to ask him about the love situation, because I felt as though he loved me, but he didn't love me in that way. And if he did love me in that way, he didn't know how to show it. But he said to me, he said, yes, I do love you. But he said, I'm not in love with you. And I'm like, what do you mean you're not in love with me? And it's just like I felt my heart start to sink in my stomach. And then he started to explain. So meanwhile, while he's explaining this to me, the only thing I'm thinking in my head is like, you fell into the trap. The enemy has once got you into the trap, and you're about to fall into the darkness. And the darkness is depression, tears, crying, anxiety. I mean, if anybody been through heartbreak, you know what that feels like. And he's explaining this to me, and I'm like, okay, you know, and I'm just like, you know, I can't be mad at nobody but myself. Because I constantly keep putting myself in these situations, knowing that I need to allow this man to heal, knowing that the Creator is trying to take him out of my life for a reason. So when we ended that call, I agreed to him that everything was going to be fine. But as we ended that call, I started to cry, and I felt bad. And I felt that the day that I decided to keep the commandments, and I was so happy, I felt like that peace that Yah gave me, that peace within my temple, I felt at that moment it was taken away from me. That's how I felt. And I cried and I cried and I prayed to the Almighty Creator, and I asked him, I said, Father, show me what this is. Show me if I'm wrong. Show me if this person belongs in my life. Just show me what this is, because I am confused. And that's exactly what I said to my Father when I prayed. And I went to sleep, and I woke up, and I was very depressed. And I felt really bad. And I woke up, and, you know, I made a phone call to someone I know. But before that phone call, I woke right up, and something said to check YouTube. So I went onto YouTube, and Shout out to the Mr. Marcus Rogers. Y'all gotta go check him out on YouTube. His name is Marcus Rogers. He's phenomenal, okay? I watch him. So, as soon as I opened up YouTube, I seen a Marcus Rogers video that was uploaded, and he just actually uploaded this video. So it was basically about him talking about how we tend to get all the way up in our path and we're following the Almighty Creator, and then life or something happens and we're up here, but when something happens in our life, it knocks us down back to the ground, and we're back into the darkness, or we're back into the sin, or we're back into just being away from the Almighty Creator, just being away from our purpose and our path, just being brung out the light and just into the darkness. Okay, he did that message. And as he got to the end of this message, and I want you guys to go check this out. As he got to the end of the message, it really spoke to my soul. How he said that Yah, the Creator, had people that he is ready to use in 2019. But you have to stay up here. You cannot allow you. And when I say up here, I mean you have to stay up there with the Almighty Creator, and you have to stay faithful, and you have to stay righteous within your word, within your walk with Him. And you cannot allow anything to distract you, to knock you out of the light into the dark. And as he spoke those words, I started to think about myself. Well, when the video was done, I had a phone call from my kid's father, and we hung up. So I'm about to post on my Instagram, and all of a sudden it hit me, the dream that I had. I said, oh my goodness. So this dream that I had, and automatically, hold on one second. Okay, so the dream that I had, it just clicked. You know how you can be doing something and all of a sudden a dream that you had just automatically comes to your mind? Well, that's what happened to me. And I got the vision of the dream, and I said, oh my goodness, it all makes sense now. So the dream that I had, I was in a house, and I seen my mom and my sisters outside of my house, and they wanted to come in, and I said no, because I'm currently not speaking to my mom and sisters, and I'll talk about that in another video. But they just kept trying to come in my house, and they finally was able to come in my house. And when they got there, I just looked at them, and they were just there talking. And then I seen this guy that looked like Snoop Dogg. It kind of reminded me of Snoop Dogg, but it wasn't Snoop Dogg. And now, I think the reason why Yah used Snoop Dogg as an object in my dream is because Snoop Dogg is, to me, to basically discern the dream, Snoop Dogg has an addiction to marijuana. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with marijuana, but Snoop Dogg has an addiction to marijuana. So this man, so he did not have Snoop Dogg's face, but he was tall, like real tall, right? And he was dark. It was it was black. He was basically black, because it's like I seen his face and his face disappeared, and then he turned all black, and he was real tall, like had to been like 8 feet tall, real dark. Like just basically just black. Like when I say dark, like a dark, it's like a dark shadow or something, right? And I remember I was in front of his face, and I was confronting him, and I stood up to him and I said something, and what he did was he picked me all the way up, and he held me there, and then he threw me down, and he slammed me to the ground. And I remember hitting the ground so hard that it hurted so bad. And as I got back up, I stumbled and I got back up, and then he picked me all the way up again, and threw me back down to the ground. And as I got back up, and I stumbled back up, and I faced him, and I looked him in the face, and I was, telling him off, and I was telling him off. And then he picked me up for the final time, and the third time, he held me there. And then as he was about to throw me back down to the ground, he said, huh, and he took some cocaine out of a bottle, and I ain't never did drugs, marijuana, okay? He took some cocaine out of a bottle. He said, huh, and he took it and he put it on my lips, and then I woke up, and that's when I forgot the dream. But after seeing Marcus Rogers' video, and then after being the vision of the dream just hitting me, I knew what it meant. Because I remember I asked y'all to show me what this is. That I basically have an obsession or an addiction to my twin flame. I have an addiction or obsession with wanting to be with him. And by me wanting to be with him all the time, and this back and forth, it's just knocking me down away from the Almighty Creator, and it's knocking me off of my path, and it's knocking me out of the light, and it's putting me in the dark. And every time I get back up, and I face the enemy, I'm knocked right back down, because I am dragged right back into the darkness. And I am doing this to myself. So what I want to tell you guys is this. Sometimes we may have people in our lives that we love dearly, close to our heart, and especially with these twin flame situations. We may have these type of relationships and connections in our lives that we just are trying to hold on, but the Almighty is trying to remove them out of our life, but we are not allowing it. And because I did not allow him to remove this man out of my life, and I kept getting closer and closer to the Almighty, and the enemy is using this person. The enemy is using this person to keep me away from the Almighty, to keep me stuck in the darkness, and it's doing nothing but delaying our true purpose in this lifetime. And I am delaying my purpose. I am delaying my path. I am delaying my progress. And when we hold on to people that don't belong in our life, this is exactly what we are doing. We are delaying our progress. We are delaying and we're blocking what the Almighty Creator is trying to do in our life. The Almighty Creator is a potter, and I am the clay, and he is molding me to where I need to be. He is molding you to where you need to be. But every time you get pulled into that addiction, it pulls you away from your purpose, and Yah is not allowed to use you. We have to learn to discern, even myself. And because I've asked the Almighty Creator to show me what it was, that dream alone, that message from Marcus Rogers alone, gave me a sense of peace. That now I know what this is. This is the enemy using an addiction that I have for this man to keep me stuck. No more. No more. No more. No more. When I say I wash my hands is washed. I'm done. I'm done. So now that I have seen the light and Yah was able to show me the light, I'm happy, but it's like bittersweet. But I know I have to release this person. First, this person is not where I need them to be. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. Honestly, at this point, I'm keeping the commandments. I really don't want to be bothered with nobody at this point. But my path right now is solo. And I am walking this path solo. I am allowing Yah to use me, to mold me to what he needs me to become, to basically do the mission that I have been assigned to. And you guys, I want you, if you don't take anything from this message that I just said, right? When you know that the Almighty Creator is trying to remove someone out of your life, do not fight it. Because at the end of the day, you're going to end right back at square one, in tears, in heartbreak, because that's where the enemy wants you. That's where he wants to keep you. Because if he can keep you in anxiety, if he can keep you in depression, if he can keep you in worry, then Yah cannot use you. He can't use you in that state of mind and all with the anxiety and the depression. He can't use you. You're not going to be able to fully walk your path the way you need to if we have distractions in our lives. Let go. Let go. And I had to let go. So I'm telling you, if you're going through this, let go. And if you are unsure to let go, go to the Almighty Creator and pray. Read scriptures and pray. And ask him to show you what this is. Show you what you're dealing with. And he will. Be patient. Be patient. Your prayers will be answered like mine was. Okay? So I had to share this message with you guys. It was very unexpectedly. But when I get messages like this and dreams like this, I have to share them with the world, because you never know who may be going through the same thing that you are going through. Okay? So I want to thank everybody for being with me today. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your love. I really appreciate everything about you guys. You know, keep walking your path. Keep praying, keep reading scripture. If you're not reading scripture, you need to start reading scripture, okay? Because the word, in those words that's in the book comes vibrations, and words are powerful. And what we speak out of our mouth into the universe is powerful, and it manifests in our life in a way where it creates positivity. The Almighty wants us to learn the word, because the word is our sword. It's our protection. It teaches us what we're going to be put up against. It teaches us about him. So learn the word. Read your book. Learn scripture. Get you a King James Version, Old Testament, New Testament. I really recommend getting a Tanakh. Okay, the Stone Edition. You can purchase that off of Amazon. But until then, my loves, I will see you the next time when I am divinely guided to put a message up. I will. But until then, I'll see you on Facebook. Peace, love, and light.